Bonjour. Welcome back to Doing Dinner on WKGC 90.7. I'm your host, Chef Chris, here with Ryan. And today we're going full cliche, Ryan. We're going full cliche.
And what is that, Chef Chris?
Oh, buddy, it's going to be a fun one.
Not the definition of cliche.
No, okay, not the definition of cliche. No. Today we're going to do a French party. And I feel like France is like the epicenter of cliches. If it wasn't for American cliches, which we have plenty of them here, and the reason I want to throw a French party is because in France and Germany and England, they like to throw American parties.
They do.
They do, yeah, man, they do. They get like red Solo cups and eat hot dogs and like slather everything in Heinz ketchup, you know. But
see that I'm not a ketchup person. There's very few things, Chef Chris, that on which I will apply ketchup. With McDonald's fries, I love ketchup with those. But most any other type of French fry, I really only like having like the honey mustard or Chick-fil-A sauce, or sometimes even like a ranch or barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And then my meatloaf, there's no ketchup on my meatloaf. No ketchup. There's something about ketchup that over the years I've grown to find it
not loved.
Not loved at all, except with those McDonald's fries.
I will tell you this. Yeah. Ketchup and French fries is amazing. But, ironically, we are doing a French party today. It is a French cliché party, but French fries are not from France.
No, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you were the chef here, it was a chef in, I don't remember if it was New York or Paris, took the...
Belgium.
It was Belgium. And
Belgium.
It's a similar story to that of the potato chip, as I understand, except sliced differently.
Yes.
And it was kind of a happy accident. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It was a very happy accident. It's one of the best things to eat. It's delicious with champagne and caviar and ketchup. And in like Denmark, they do like this frites sauce is what they call it. And it's kind of like mayonnaise. But yeah, there's tons of different cultures that dip different things in French fries.
The Canadian poutine is
amazing.
French fries as well, but it's obviously topped very differently.
Topped with gravy and I mean poutine is actually very French. Like it comes from the French part of Canada, but it's like gravy on fries with cheese, and like that's amazing, right? So we're doing a French party. So grab your berets, get a baguette. I'm a little Edith. For those of you who don't know, she sings this really famous song called La Vie en Rose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was featured
on
in
Emily in Paris.
Stars
Born, Emily in Paris.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's actually how my daughter got her name.
Really?
Yeah, it means life in pink. So
nice.
Like her name is a rendition on that song,
cool.
which is kind of cool. So my mom is from France, ironically too. So. I do like French culture. I do like to walk around and say, oh, la, la. Wear a beret.
We just got canceled.
Yeah, we just, I mean, but, so think Emily in Paris with this one, but with more food, less fashion drama, because it's like chef and fashion drama. Everybody, if you haven't seen the show Emily in Paris, you should watch it. It's fantastic. And we tend to do a lot of TV-themed shows, dinner parties on shows in this because, we have Netflix now and we don't all watch them together, so this is how we get together and do it. Did you know that France was the most visited country in the world?
Recently or just over the course of time?
Over 90 million people visit France a year. It is the most visited vacation place on the planet.
Ever. Is that mostly Paris or Cannes or just a combination?
I think it's Paris, and I think 80 million of them are probably waiting in line at the Eiffel Tower. So it's,
I recently went up to the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
The one in Vegas.
The one in Vegas. I have been to that one. There's an amazing French restaurant there by a French chef. His name is Jean Joho, and he is from Alsace, and it is amazing. I mean, it's very old school French food. But it is really, really good. and there's a place and time for that, There's a place and time for that type of food. And obviously, if we're doing a cliché French party today, we're definitely going to have some very cliché French food, Somebody in France decided a long time ago that they wanted to eat slow food, and that's snails. Yeah, And amuse-bouche. Amuse-bouche is from France.
Amuse-bouche.
The French have given us most all of the food that we know at least kind of started in France. And from some sense, what we teach in culinary school is mostly French technique and French food.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were the first to write it down. They were the first to have restaurants.
I'm reminded of two things. One, an appreciation for, and listeners, if you have not seen this movie, after the show today, you want to go out and watch it, and that is the 100-Foot Journey. From,
yes, amazing
28,
movie.
It was a little before then, with Helen Mirren. Fantastic cast, two competing restaurants. One's French, one is Indian, and the hijinks ensue, but it's also very heartwarming. And the other thing, Chef Chris, I don't know about culinary school, because I haven't been there. However, I can tell you where I have learned quite a bit about French cuisine, and that is from Frasier, because he is all about French cuisine all throughout his show. And a lot of what I know, which albeit is not a fraction of what you know, but what I know of French cuisine, a lot of it comes from Frasier and his brother Niles, and all the meals and all the restaurants they would go to in one of the best written and one of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Yeah, I mean, is Frasier based in New York City?
Seattle.
Seattle. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure about French restaurants in Seattle, but New York City has more French restaurants that serve traditional French-style food than Paris does. So.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of food in Paris is very hot cuisine, like very modern, They do have, like, the traditional French bistro, French cafe, but the reality is, like, that old-school French food, the French don't even cook it anymore. Very rare. Like, some places do, like Paul Bocuse is a world-famous chef who has... he's passed away now, but...
so I want chicken cordon bleu and a baguette. I'm probably less likely to find it in Paris than I am in New York.
You're definitely highly Parisians eat like 80 billion baguettes a year or something. It's insane. Like they have it with every meal. So, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, they eat a ton of baguettes in France every year, especially on Bastille Day, which I believe is like July 14th. I want to say.
Yeah, it just passed not too long ago.
Yeah. If I'm right there, but yeah, we do. We get the term amuse-bouche, which we've talked about on this show. And we do have an American version of that. It's called a Costco sample. And like, we'll just walk around the store eating little amuse-bouches all day. But, yeah. And, Emily in Paris is probably the most famous French thing that we know recently from TV and the Olympics, right? So, the Olympics kind of put France out there, especially Paris. And the Olympics have been in Paris before, but not quite like the last one,
I remember the episode of I Love Lucy where Lucy goes to Paris, and there's the one of the most iconic moments in the series where she's sitting down at the French restaurant. She doesn't speak a lick of French. But, of course, Lucy's not going to allow those around her because she is going to immerse herself in the culture. She sits down at the little bistro table. She orders escargot, not knowing that it is snails. And then it is this is the moment that I'm about to describe that makes its way onto, like, I Love Lucy's sizzle reels, is where she takes and I'm not going to know the name of the device, but the little tongs that bring that take the snail out of the shell, and then she doesn't know what to do with them, and so she takes the little tongs and she clips them on her nose.
Okay. Well, it's been a long time since I wonder if that's still on. Well, I mean, it's all streaming. I'm sure you.
There's
can find
always
it,
an episode of I Love Lucy playing everywhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Like I remember when it was on Fox.
Yeah.
When it was like reruns were on Fox. But yeah, so the French did invent restaurants. So the first official restaurant, was opened in France.
Really?
Yeah. So it happened after the French Revolution, because French royalty all had chefs. They all had private chefs, right? And well, when the revolution happened, there wasn't any more French royalty. So, somebody said let them eat cake, and they ate their cake, Marie Antoinette. So we should definitely at this party have people dressed up as Marie Antoinette, which would be fun. And I found yesterday online that you can order full-size guillotines that do not work. They don't work, but you can get an actual guillotine as like decor, because
yes, and the guillotine was last used in France. I don't know if it was Paris specifically. Way more recently than we would like to think.
Yeah, like the 1980s or something.
1980s is the last time. It's crazy to think that the guillotine was still being used 40 years ago. It just was mind blowing.
Yeah. Because I like to say whenever I'm teaching class and we talk about restaurants, because it's one of the first classes that we take, we actually talk about the restaurants that were started in France, and I always like to say, because the French chefs decided to stop cooking for royalty and start cooking for Karens. So now we have restaurants, and it is because of France. It is because of the French. They decided to start selling things. If you have a certain fruit television show, then television subscription, you can watch a show called Karim, which is on like the world's first celebrity chef who was alive during this time. It is in French, but you can turn on English. I've watched it twice. I've watched it in French with English subtitles, and then I've watched it with like the English voiceover. And it is about a very famous French chef. Yeah, and it's a fantastic show, and it is partially based on his real life and true story, and how he was working for French royalty and like making these elaborate pastries and this really beautiful work, and like he cooked for all the dignitaries back then, and he cooked for Napoleon, and like he did Napoleon, like parties for Napoleon and all kinds of crazy things.
Did he make shortcakes for Napoleon?
No, I see what you did there. He did not, but he did invent croquembouche, which is a fun word to say, croquembouche.
Croquembouche.
Yeah, it's like a tower of little mini donuts with sugar all over it.
Dude, that's actually a wedding cake that I would love to see. I would love to see a wedding cake made out of donuts. So the same like 3-tier idea, but instead of being your typical cake, it's 3 tiers of donuts.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. That's kind of what it looks like. It's this pyramid it's just like a pyramid of like these little like pastries with sugar spun all over it, and it's kind of it's cool, but you know,
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's really hard to make in Florida because of the humidity and the sugar melts, but Karim was amazing. There was another famous chef. His name was Escoffier, and he kind of did. Escoffier came after Karim, but he basically revolutionized how kitchens operate today.
So the whole like
brigade system,
the head chef, sous chef, and this chef, that chef. He came up with that structure.
Yeah, he came up with that structure. So you can still go get Karim's cookbooks. Like he wrote everything down, which is cool. And I mean, this is like mid 1700s, early 1800s.
Wow.
Yeah, so he wrote all of these recipes down. Some of them are still used today. He invented a lot of food in the kitchen that we still use today. Yeah, and he did it all without electricity and gas. So it's like wild to think what those kitchens were like back then, where they're just like firing everything in like urns and like all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, and then in America we got a famous American who cooked French food and made it, kind of brought it to America for us, and that is Julia Child. If you don't know Julia Child, she made French food accessible in America. She had a couple famous quotes. My favorite is, "With butter, anything is good." I'm pretty sure that's how I passed college. I knew how to use butter. That's why I had an over 2.0 GPA. I was really good with butter. But she also had the famous quote that I like cooking with wine. Sometimes I even add it to food. So Julia Child revolutionized French food in this country.
She also had the long-running television show on PBS.
On PBS, yeah. You can. Actually, I think that's one thing that we should do at this French party is we should have Julia Child on the TV doing the cooking.
I think so.
Especially her recipe for coq au vin, which is like one of her famous ones. But her most famous recipe, and I think what probably is the best episode she ever had, was the one with beef bourguignon. It's in black and white.
Okay.
It's kind of like scratchy, so it's like early public television, and but it's cool. It's really, really cool. Like, she has this very subtle, like faked French accent almost. But Julia Child was amazing. And then now we still have amazing French chefs. The chef that's probably most famous in this country, Joel Robuchon, opened a bunch of restaurants. His restaurants are transcendent, and he invented a certain type of mashed potato too that's really amazing, called Robuchon potatoes.
Robuchon potatoes.
Yeah, it's 50% potato, 25% butter, 25% heavy cream.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Oh, it's very rich and very delicious. They like fall on the plate. They're so good. If you can at home Google Robuchon potatoes and get a recipe and cook these things, you do have to have like a certain different type of piece of equipment called a tammy to do it, but It's fantastic. It is so good and so rich. Very good with steak and beef and like rich, heavy French food.
If you don't have a Tammy, is there something that might be a little bit more common in a kitchen that you could use?
You could use a food mill, like you could get one of those, or most people have like a fine mesh strainer. Mm-hmm. Fine mesh strainers will also work. Like you can push the potatoes through it and like,
Okay.
Yeah. So like I really like the idea of doing this, especially from a cliche standpoint, because like having everyone wear berets, having the fake cigarettes, having like, Julia Child on the TV, kind of replicating like Paris Cafe Society, where they just like, they don't have their phones out. They don't do any of that, So it's like they're sitting there talking about like food and politics and culture at these cafes, drinking like some type of cafe drink, and I love that about French culture actually. So yes, we're going to have like live memes, or what are they? They're like in the box, mimes. Mm-hmm. Mimes are French, like the black and white striped shirts, and like I think that would be kind of cool. Or make it like Versailles, like Versailles was. You can make it really luxurious if you want to make it like Versailles, and I think that a lot of times French culture has like shaped the rest of the world, and especially because it's like there's a stigma to it. There's people that say like, oh, French people are this, and like they don't like people or they don't like this. I'm like, well, literally hospitality was invented there. So at some point in their history, they loved people, and now we get restaurants and hospitality and hotels and food from them. But we also get fun things like, let them eat cake. And everyone knows that. Actually, she probably didn't say that, Historians argue now that if Marie Antoinette actually said let them eat cake. But I'm going to say that she did say that.
Okay.
She looked like she ate cake. Yeah. And, like cheese. Cheese, for example. There's over 1,600 protected and produced varieties of cheese made in France. 1,600.
In France alone, 1,600.
Just France.
Wow.
And then we're like, oh, French cheese is very stinky. And I'm like, here in America, we literally eat cheese out of a can. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yes, there are some types of cheese in France that are stinky, but we don't have room to judge. It's like, let's just make fun of each other and have fun with it, because that's what it's all about. It's like, we eat cheese out of a can, like, and canned cheese, like, so. And did you know that the Eiffel Tower grows 6 inches in the summer? Like, this is for real.
Because of the heat and the metal, and wow.
Yeah, I found that out, and so I thought it was pretty fun. And there's things like the Tour de France. Mm-hmm. So the French don't do anything very fast except the Tour de France. Like, think about that. Somebody decided a long time ago that we're going to ride a bicycle 2,000 miles. Like, wow. But
it's to work off all of this rich French food.
All of the rich French food, like the huge brioches from there. French baguettes are classic. French butter is classic. If you ever have the chance to eat butter from France, it is magical. And I'm a huge fan of butter.
I love butter.
I love butter too.
It's always in my refrigerator.
I mean, you don't have to keep it there though.
Okay, so, now I know we need to get to our menu and the plan, but I think this would be something good to touch on before we go into our first break, Chef Chris.
Yes.
So I've seen where, like, I keep it in the refrigerator, but growing up, my mother kept it in a dish on the counter. So what is the proper way to store butter, or is it left up to the individual? Does it belong in the refrigerator, or is it fine in the glass case, the glass storage container on the countertop?
In a restaurant, I would recommend you keeping it in a refrigerator. At home, I keep it on the countertop.
You keep it on the countertop as well?
At home. But in a restaurant, we have laws that we have to abide by, and regulations.
Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of like, I think it's better on the counter, but whenever it comes to serving the public, you want to keep it in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the appetizer, the history, some of the chefs. And the reason France basically runs the world of food and high fashion, by the way. Coming up next, the main event, our course French party menu, so fabulous. Even Emily's boyfriend in Paris would Instagram it.
Listeners, keep listening to Doing Dinner here on 90.7 WKGC, and Chef Chris will be right back.
Drownings are the #1 cause of accidental death for young children. Simple safety steps are the best way to prevent these tragedies. Make sure kids learn how to swim. Designate an adult water watcher to watch kids in and around water. Save the phone calls and texts for when the kids are out of the water. Properly fence all pools with fences at least 4 feet high and with self-closing, self-latching gates. When above-ground pools aren't in use, remove the ladders. When pools aren't in use, cover them. Teach kids to stay away from drains. And if a child is missing, check the pool or spa first. Consider the steps you take, then add a few more. Because you never know which pool safety step will save a life. Until it does. Simple steps save lives. To learn some new ones, visit poolsafely.gov.
Welcome back to 90.7 WKGC. I'm Chef Chris. This is Doing Dinner. We're here with Ryan, and today we are planning a cliché French party, complete with guillotines and let them eat cake. And probably we're going to have a picture of Ryan there with his face on the Mona Lisa.
So something real fun about the word cliché is I think Michelle Pfeiffer's character put it best in The French Exit, where she said, what is a cliché but a story that has grown so fine with time that it bears retelling?
It does. So if you're not telling the story of, like, cliches about culture, then I don't think that we're celebrating.
A little bit of truth.
Yeah, I don't think we're celebrating culture without doing that.
No.
That's very good. That's a really good one. I want to put that, like, on my bathroom wall or something. Yes. You know? But French food requires hours of cooking, most of it, you know. But I think that what's good about that is there's lots of wine involved, which is also good, and, you know, lots of butter, and maybe everyone smells like Chanel No. 5. And
but I need 3 cups of wine, spill a little in a pot.
Yes. I need 4 cups of wine. Half of a cup goes in the pot. Yep. Yeah. So, you know, but think like amuse-bouche. We got to talk about amuse-bouche.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do that. They are complimentary at most fine dining restaurants, and I think I think we should celebrate all French culture with this menu, not just like the fine dining side of French culture, because they do have a ton of amazing restaurants. They have more Michelin star restaurants than anywhere. But they are free. Like you're not technically charged for them. So most high-end restaurants give them away, but I want to do like something with a French goat cheese, like maybe like a puff pastry, like a little cream puff, but with goat cheese in it instead.
Oh, I've never had. I've had cream puffs many times, but I've never thought of the cream
savory
puff
one.
having a savory cream
Yeah,
puff. I like that.
I just had a French brioche donut this past weekend. That was really good, and I think it'd be fun to do at this party too. And you can like Google filled savory donuts and kind of see like how they do it, but it was brioche bun, so it's like lots of butter and lots of eggs, and they put like this onion, like French onion jam inside of it, and then they put caviar on top of it, and it was amazing. It was so good, and I was like, wow, I could eat like 100 of these things.
Oh, sounds delightfully delectable.
Yeah. So I mean, and like I said, the American version of a amuse-bouche is the Costco sample or the sample. So like, think that size. That's a good way to describe it. I'm like, how do you describe the size of a amuse-bouche?
Not the size of a pedophore, perhaps?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Right. It's like walk around Costco and Sam's Club, and the amount they give you is about the amount of a amuse-bouche in France. So yeah, and then course 2. So or course 1, we have our amuse-bouche. Course 1, I like. And something that I really, really love is cheese. I have a high passion for cheese. I love brie. I love camembert. I love Roquefort, which is a blue. There's a cheese. It's actually made in the Swiss Alps called Schauerhacker. But I think the best cheese in the world to me is made in the Alps. So the French Alps, the Swiss Alps, and the Italian Alps. So like that area of the world just produces amazing cheese. Like usually in the world cheese competition, the cheese that wins is from there. So
I never would have placed the best
awesome.
cheese in the world coming from the high altitude regions.
Oh man, it's amazing. Well, number one, there's caves. It's cold, and the grass there is very pure because it's been protected for so long.
Okay.
So whatever the sheep, the goats, or the cows are grazing on is this grass that's never had herbicides or pesticides or anything on it because it's been protected for so long because you can't use that stuff or it goes off into the milk. And then you're not going to have good cheese. So I think we should do a charcuterie board. Pate gets a bad rap, but you can get some good patés. I would probably make one, but it does take a long time. It's going to take you 3 days to prep this party. At least 3 days. So, just put on some Daft Punk and get after it. If you didn't know, Daft Punk is French. They're from France. Yeah.
So the adult Lunchable, otherwise known as the charcuterie board.
Yes.
Does it originate in France, Chef Chris?
I think that a lot of cheese and cured meats are from all over the world. I think Parisian culture probably helped with that, but the reality is it's not from just one place, right?
Okay.
And one of the interesting things is outside of some cured pork products like prosciutto or there's an amazing French ham called Hamon de Paris, which is cooked ham, so the kind that we would put in America on a ham sandwich. They also use it, and they put it on baguette. Usually they it's ham and brie and butter on baguette. It's delicious. It's so good. It's very simple, but you can get that ham here. Usually specialty food stores will have it.
Okay.
But it's just like getting a boar's head ham. It's just better.
Okay.
It's just a lot better. Yeah, it's delicious. Pate is definitely from France. And you could put all this stuff on the board, but I think the one thing you have to have on a charcuterie board at a French party are the pickles that failed to have their growth spurt, cornichons.
Are those?
Cornichons are French.
I don't care for pickles. I haven't eaten them, but I have certainly seen them, and they're like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, and they look like they were left in the dryer too long.
Yeah, yeah. So they are shriveled up. They look like little baby pickles that haven't hit puberty. That's what they are. Okay, but they can be delicious. Sometimes they're sweet, sometimes they're spicy, sometimes they're sweet and spicy or salty, like dill style. But I think that you have to have those on a charcuterie board. I think charcuterie board is a fair place to start, with a cocktail hour for French. Yeah. For French, and then have obviously champagne. You have to have champagne. The only place in the world that champagne is made is Champagne, France. The French were the first to actually protect places like that. So there's international laws that say you can't call sparkling wine that isn't made in Champagne. All right, so.
If we're going with a sparkling wine because, say, we can't afford the official champagne,
it's still good. It's still good.
Do you recommend a rosé, a white, a red? What type of sparkling wine should we have with this charcuterie board?
A brut, which is very dry, so it's not sweet. It's very bubbly, and I would probably just say a white brut is fine. Okay. Just a regular brut champagne is going to be okay. And champagne isn't necessarily very expensive either. You can get some bottles that are $20, $21 that are pretty decent. They're not the really, really nice vintage grower champagnes. But
vintage 2024.
Yeah, vintage 2024. Oh man, I've had some good ones. But anyway, now let's talk main courses. And I think this doesn't need to be a sit-down party. I think that people need to be very roaming.
Okay.
Yeah, so
get some good kinetic energy going.
Yeah, I think so. Just because it is what it is, something fun. Yes, we could sit down and have this elaborate French dinner, but I don't really think that represents what it is now there. But
so maybe high top tables for the cocktail hour, which would encourage movement throughout the space.
Yeah. And then I think coq au vin has to be on the menu. And
I'm unfamiliar with coq au vin.
So coq au vin is chicken breast or chicken. Okay. It doesn't have to be chicken breast. Usually it's breast or bone-in thighs, bone-in breast. It usually is chicken on the bone.
Okay.
And it's braised in white wine. Yeah, and it turns into this gravy that is just delicious. And Julia Child made it famous in America but it's really, really good. And you could serve it like a side for that could be Roubachion potatoes, which we will definitely talk about here in a moment. And then you got to have beef bourguignon. It's like the best way to describe beef bourguignon is like your grandma's beef stew went to Harvard and studied in Paris. Like, it's luxurious, it's delicious, it's like enjoyed by everyone in France, doesn't matter where they're from. It's usually pretty high quality beef that is like cooked down in this stew with like potatoes and onions and celery, what we call mirepoix. The French coined that term too, which is celery, onions, and carrots. It's the basis for everything that we make. And
I'm not sure how often you can find it at restaurants, but there is a restaurant where I have had beef bourguignon, and I really enjoyed it, and that was at Toothsome at Universal Orlando. They have beef bourguignon on their menu. Really unusual, at least compared to other restaurants to which I've been, and I don't know how it stacks up to a Chef Chris beef bourguignon, but I must say it was very tasty.
It's delicious. It's not one of my very favorite things to cook, but I do like to eat it because it's very hearty. It's a perfect like 65-degree weather dish. Yeah. It's made with red wine, potatoes, celery, onions, carrots, and it's just like this beef stew that's hearty and yum.
Beef stew reduction.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like your grandma studied in Paris, went to Harvard. It's got like some vibes to it, you know. And then I think the one that was made famous by Disney Pixar, you got to have Ratatouille. And you got to have somebody who's doing the cooking that day walk around with a little rat in their hat, you know, like, which would be funny because that is the culture of what we're trying to represent here. This is the party theme here.
So now, Ratatouille in the movie, Chef Chris, was represented as a, we'll call it working class dish.
It is.
Is that still that way today, or has it now been absorbed into fine cuisine maybe even after the movie?
It's been absorbed in a ton of different cuisines at this point. Everyone does it. It's either like diced or sliced. The one in the movie is sliced. It was developed by a chef. His name is Thomas Keller. He owns a restaurant in Napa Valley called the French Laundry in Yountville. He is a classically trained French.
I have heard of the French Laundry.
The French Laundry is an iconic American restaurant. I would say it's probably the most famous American restaurant to foodies. Yeah, it's been around since 1996. It's been one of the world's best restaurants since then. So it's pretty cool what goes on there. A meal there's a cool $400 per person, but the reality is like it's an experience, right? It's like people that pay that much for food, Ryan, are the same type of people who feel about food in restaurants like some people would feel about going to a Taylor Swift concert. So you think like, wow, people pay $400 or $500 to go see Taylor Swift. Well, I mean, some people think about restaurants like her fans think about her. So that's whenever like people are like, oh, I'd never pay that much for a meal. I'm like, what's the most expensive concert you ever been to? Or sport? Well, that's a sporting event. I'm like, this is like a sporting event for the foodies, you know, that's what they are. So when people are like, whoa, that's crazy to pay that, it's like, but you went and saw the Rolling Stones and it cost you $2,000. So it's like no different to people who love and respect food or restaurants and the experience that comes with them.
Oh, I like the analogy.
Yeah, because we all get into whatever we get into, right? So, and I like food, so I like to go out to eat.
And that's what you create here every week, Chef Chris, is an experience.
Yes, that's what we do. We create experiences. I like to pay for the experience. Yes, I love to go to concerts. Yes, I love going out to the movies. Yes, I love going to see sporting events, but I also like to go to restaurants. Yeah, and some of these restaurants are like once-in-a-lifetime chance. Like the French Laundry, you're not going to get a reservation today. Like you'll get one like 4 months from now. So you literally plan an entire trip across a country to eat at this place. So that's how serious those people are about eating at places like that, which is pretty cool. Like I said, no different than a concert. But yeah, so coq au vin, beef bourguignon, ratatouille, famous Roubachion potatoes, which are just ridiculous. I personally make them exactly how he makes them, which is basically 50% potato, 50% fat, so heavy cream. I like to use the 40% cream, which has more fat in it, and then a ton of butter, like 50% butter, 40% butter. Like,
so is that the same as heavy whipping cream?
yeah, heavy whipping cream is that, but it comes in different percentages of fat.
Oh,
yeah, so there's a 36 and there's a 40. The 40 is like, it's more expensive, but it's very rich and very thick, so it just works better with potatoes. At least I think it does. And then, dessert. You got to have dessert in France. You got to. And I would say the most iconic dessert from France is one that has pretty much been on every fine dining menu since the beginning of time, and that is creme brulee. What movie is it where she says, Ron, she says, sweetie, you're never Jell-O, you're creme brulee, or something along those lines. My best friend's wedding, maybe something like that.
I don't recall, but speaking of which, there is a Christmas movie that my mom and I watch every single year. It was ABC was Family Channel original movie, 1996 or 1997. It's called The Christmas List. It's got Deborah Winger in it. It's fantastic, listeners, if you're looking for a new Christmas movie. Well, in The Christmas List, there is a scene at a restaurant towards the end, and then Deborah Winger's character, she is upset at her ex-boyfriend, and so then he wants to break the creme brulee. And
he wants to crack it?
He wants to crack it. But
that's like French ASMR, bro. Like, oh, my God, I love it.
She's so mad at him that she knows that, like, everything falls apart right there at the table. And so she takes the spoon and crunch, 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 crunch. And then she takes it and dumps it in his lap. Ooh. And then she walks out of the restaurant.
And then he had no creme brulee, which is sad. Because creme brulee is delicious. It's
it's not Deborah Winger. Mimi Rogers in the lead role.
Well, maybe creme brulee is just about movies, because it is in My Best Friend's Wedding. Julia Roberts says it.
Okay.
Julia Roberts tells, I forget the other actress's name, that, sweetie, you're not Jell-O, you will always be creme brulee. So that's a good one-liner too. That's a good one-liner. And then we got to have croquembouche, which is my favorite French word to say. Croquembouche. Which is
croquembouche.
Yeah, lots of bouches. We bouchy on doing dinner. We're so bouchy. But it's basically a tower of cream puffs that has this caramel sugar that's just thrown all over it, and it kind of looks like hay around it, and it's a very cool looking dish. Like I said, it's easier to make in places that don't have high humidity. Chef Mandy at Gulf Coast State College makes one that's pretty cool, but it's a cool thing. It's very it's like luxurious. It looks fun. It would be a cool wedding cake idea, but eventually the sugar does melt, which is a problem. But it's fun to see made. It's fun to eat it. It's delicious.
That dessert for listeners along Florida's Emerald Coast. Is that a dessert that can be found in this general vicinity, or is it one that you're more likely to find in a larger metropolitan area?
You're more than likely to find it in, very rarely have I ever seen it served at restaurants, because it's made on a very grand scale.
Okay.
So it's perfect for parties.
Okay.
It's a perfect party dessert because it feeds a bunch of people. It's literally like this tower of cream puffs held together by this sponge sugar. And it's like you eat it kind of like you would play Jenga.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And spun sugar, not to denigrate the spun sugar too much, but is it like cotton candy?
No, it's more like if you melted caramel and just threw it everywhere. So it's not as fun. It's like glass-like almost. Imagine glass noodle-like. That's what it's like. Versus, cotton candy's very airy. I do love cotton candy though.
Is cotton candy perhaps inspired by a French? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Definitely comes from how they did croquembouche, which was invented in the late 1700s with no commercial equipment, which is insane. But and then you got to have macarons, right? The French macarons are famous for little cookies that have amazing filling in them. They are not macaroons. They are macarons.
I was about to ask you that because I'm like, I've always referred to them as macaroons. Have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
Naturally, macarons. Naturally, we have said it differently, which I don't care about the pronunciation, but a lot of people, if you're in France and you call it macaroons, you might be like looked at funny.
So they're two different things. Macaroons and macarons are two different.
Macaroons are like at your grandparents' bake sale. Those, like they're the cookies that are made with like coconut and. Yeah, that's a macaroon. And then drinks and pairings. I think champagne, Burgundy. White Burgundy, Red Burgundy, Sancerre is a popular wine right now. Red Bordeaux. But if you want, the French have this cool drink called pastis. That's really fun. And then cognac's huge in France as well. So.
Ooh, I keep cognac at home. Brandy and cognac. I could sit there with a snifter in front of the fireplace and read a book, and I am perfectly content. But I think this is a really good place to go to a break here, Chef Chris, and we can come back and talk about the rest of this fantastic dinner party that you have created for us. So listeners, keep listening to Doing Dinner here on 90.7 WKGC, and Chef Chris will be right back. On 90.7 WKGC Public Media, every day is powered by you. Your support plays a vital role in delivering programming along the Emerald Coast that educates, entertains, and informs. From news to music to special interest shows hosted by local voices, you'll find it all right here. Join our community of listener supporters today. Visit WKGC.org for more information.
Welcome back to 90.7 WKGC. This is Doing Dinner. I'm Chef Chris, your host, and today we are planning a cliché French dinner party menu and or big party. I think you should have like ball style, Ryan. 50 plus people at this thing, like croquembouche, Mona Lisa. Got to have a guillotine.
Was there something on? Could we make it a functional guillotine paired with one of the food items? Is there a food item that we have prepared that we could actually use the guillotine to cut for entertainment value?
Yeah, but there's going to be alcohol being served. So, I mean, that's where my mind, when we were planning the party, first went. I'm like, what if we like sliced a bunch of baguette with guillotines? And I'm like, not a good idea. We can have one that just like a cardboard cutout guillotine, But I think that food fills the stomach, and I think ambience fills the soul. I think like setting the right ambience for a party like this is really, really important. Obviously, we'll have a ton of Eiffel Tower stuff, right? It is meant to be kind of cliche. Like, we want to represent French culture and what it is, yes, but we also want to like have a live meme.
Yeah.
Or mime, whatever you call them. But
mime.
somebody.
Memes are the things on Instagram. Mime is the striped individual with the white face trapped in the box.
Yes, we want one of those. We got to have one of those at our French party. That would be awesome. Somebody has to be dressed as Marie Antoinette. That's like a must. Right? King Louis. Wear fun stuff.
Yeah.
And just get into it, because that's what makes these fun. And if you like to do social media and Instagram and Facebook and whatever it is,
there's
TikTok.
So many photo opportunities.
Yeah,
I mean, at dinner parties in general, but particularly this one with as extravagant, if not on the verge of campy, as it is. A lot of photo opportunities, and we have fun, kind of creating this small version of France, even if it's borderline a caricature of France. But the point is that we're having fun with the cuisine, and it shows a great deal of appreciation for it. Have fun with this cuisine. And there's times to take food seriously, but there's other times to have fun with it. And I think at a dinner party like this, it's have fun with all of these different elements from France.
And dress code goes into that, right? Like. Yes, I wouldn't say we have a dress code for this thing, but me personally, I want to look like I just walked out of Target. Like, I'm going to have a beret on. I'm going to be wearing stripes. I'm going to have a red scarf and one of those fake cigarette things. And then like some people might show up in like Chanel black dresses. That's very French. So And French high fashion is amazing, and the art into it is really awesome. I would love to go to that one day. Paris Fashion Week would be amazing to go to.
Oh, maybe you will one day cater.
I don't know.
Said fashion.
Maybe if it's like a Southern designer and they want like fried chicken and potato salad, then I would be there. You know, I would imagine it's hard to find that in France, but
I would imagine so.
Yeah, and then the decor, like we could do some classy decor because French society is pretty classy, you know, like white tablecloths, flowers, white linen. Did you know that it's illegal to send work emails after 6 p.m. in France?
It's illegal.
Like your employer's not allowed to do it. From 6 p.m. until the next day, they're not allowed to send work emails.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, what's going on over there, man? But they do live a very slower lifestyle than us, right? So,
and they also eat much later in the day. In America, I would say I typically eat dinner early, say between 4 and 5. But I'd say more common is maybe 5 and 6, maybe 7. But over there, as I understand it, dinner is typically served later in the day. Is that correct?
Yeah. They'll eat. They'll take
or supper. Is it dinner or supper?
Dinner, supper.
Okay.
They'll eat sometimes at 11 o'clock at night. You know.
So your main dinner or supper could be served at 11 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's a much slower lifestyle. It's much different than what we do here. But I think it's cool. And then having like some of those fun facts throughout the party, like wrote on signs that are like just hanging randomly, because you don't know those things until you're like, oh, I want to plan a French party, and then you start learning about what their culture is and like how it works, and then some of the things involved in it, and you're like, oh, cool. Well, I didn't know that, but I would like to have like Eiffel Tower centerpieces for sure, French flags, you know, because when they throw American parties, they have American flags, which is kind of cool and good for them. But we're gonna throw one for them. Having Joy the Child on the TV. Having stuff like Emily Paris on the TV.
Or the Marie Antoinette movie with Kirsten Dunst.
Yes, that would be a good one. I mean, Bridgerton. There's tons of that stuff out there. That
100-Foot Journey.
Yeah, 100-Foot Journey is an amazing movie, and it's one of my favorite like cooking movies. That the chef, the more modern chef in it, does amazing work. Indian food is way underrated.
Yes, it is.
It is way underrated. And then the music, you know, like. You got to play some Edith. You got to have Daft Punk. French bistro jazz. Everybody loves that. I like it. It's fun. It's fun to hear. You got to play Lady Marmalade probably like 10 times.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Ooh, there should be a recreation of the famous windmill from the Moulin Rouge.
Yes. We should. Yeah, we should. We should do that.
And somebody should come dressed in the French Lido culture costuming. The can girls. We have to have the can at some point on the playlist, because when I think of cliché French music, the can is probably the first piece of music that comes to mind. And we have I think French Lido culture. We used to have very healthy representation of it in your classic Vegas shows, but they're long since pretty much gone extinct. And so I miss that French Lido culture. And I think at this dinner party is a place where we can kind of pay homage to or represent that, because it was a staple of entertainment for such a long time.
It was. I mean, it kind of like in food, you know, it shaped a whole industry, which is powerful, like not just in their country, but around the world. You can still go see those shows, you know, like they might not be in Vegas much anymore, but you know, you can still go see that style of show in a lot of places. And people still practice that style of acting and singing and moving. And I think that's really, really sweet, because it's timeless, really. Like, it might not be in style right now, but it never really goes out of time.
Have you been to a show at the Moulin Rouge?
No, I haven't. I would love to.
That's something I would enjoy myself.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely love to do that. And then, like, I think we should definitely do a stinky cheese tasting with blindfolds. Just because it's like, come on, you know? And I think one of the cheeses should be American canned cheese.
Like Cheese Whiz?
Yeah, Cheese Whiz. And, like, we should have, like, 3 really solid French cheeses, like a double cream brie. And then, like, something from the Alps. Like, you can go to any of your specialty food stores. If you live near a Whole Foods or a World Market or any, they're going to have some stuff from France, right? France produces so much cheese. But just pick 3 different ones that you maybe never had. Cut them up, and then just get some Cheese Whiz, too. And, like, blindfold your guests and see if they can, like, guess which one's best.
So, I know there's the stereotype that French cheese is sinky. Is it because that most of the cheese has a rather pungent aroma, or is that just more of kind of like it's more connected with lore than anything else?
It's more connected with the kind we sell in the United States. So my favorite French cheese is called Mimolette.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with that.
It's such a cool cheese. It's shaped in the size. It's very it's like almost like, imagine, the best way that I could describe it is imagine mixing a sharp cheddar with Parmesan, like Parmigiano Reggiano.
Okay.
That's kind of what it tastes like to me.
So so there's a kind of a
nutty, salty.
Okay.
It's very, very hard.
What's a hard cheese?
It's a very hard cheese. So it's got a cool backstory too. Like so back whenever the French and the Dutch were warring with each other over who knows what. But anyway, there was a king in France who loved Edam cheese. So it's kind of similar to Edam or a Gouda. So it's Dutch. So where those cheeses are traditionally from. He loved this cheese. Well, they were at war with each other, so they just stopped sending him cheese. Like they weren't importing it or exporting it to each other. So what he did was he went and stole a bunch of cheesemakers from the country. From the Dutch, had them come back to France and make this cheese for him. Well, he had them make it in the shape of cannonballs. So it's also known as cannonball cheese. And it's very hard. So then he like went and fired it at them and be like, yeah, see what you did? Now I've got the cheese anyway. But yeah, it's a true story. You can Google it. It's called Mimolette. It's an amazing, it's an amazing cheese. It's so delicious. I like it a lot. Some people like, in France, it could be kind of like a very common low or comé, kind of, it can be not very good. It can be really bad, but.
Is that like their answer to American cheese product?
No, it's like, it's hard to explain until you try it. I personally like it, but some people really are turned off by it, and I think it's pretty good. But I think having like some French cheeses, a lot of French cheeses, and doing like a blind tasting of them.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to taste something that you would never normally eat, and you might find something that you like, especially if it's blindfold, right? So we eat with our eyes first. If it's like this really crazy Roquefort that has got blue all over it, you're not going to eat it. But yeah, and I think we got to play charades.
Oh, of course.
You got to. I bet you charades was invented in France, and if it wasn't, it should have been.
It sounds like a French name.
Definitely sounds French, even though it doesn't have a bouche on it. You know, even though it doesn't have a bouche.
Charade bouche.
Yeah. I also think we could do like fun tricycle races and call it the Mini Tour de France.
I think that could be a lot of fun as well.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like you're out there and like have a little Mini Tour de France around your neighborhood, and everybody has to ride tricycles, which would be awesome. You know, winner gets a croissant. Gets a croissant or a baguette, like a baguette trophy. I wonder if you could get baguette trophies. I bet you could. That's the fun thing about planning dinner parties that I love. Yeah. Like, you come across so many things that you don't realize that you can get whenever you're planning them. Like, somebody can ask me for something, Ryan, and it'd be like, well, dang, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I wonder if that's out there. So then I'll get online, start finding them, and I'm like, wow, this stuff is available. Like, you can find anything. Like, if you can't find it, you can find somebody on a website that will build it for you.
I'm sure you could.
You can. And that's one of the fun things. That's what I teach my students, too. So I plan a class at Gulf Coast State College called Convention and Banquet Management. I teach it. And this is what we do. What we kind of talk about on doing dinner is pretty much what I teach in the class. So they get like real life interaction with guests. We do 3-course menu. Ironically, the first one we're doing is France. And it is like French onion soup, beef bourguignon, and creme brulee.
So is French onion soup actually French, or is it one of those American things that we actually call?
It is French. It's just not called French onion soup in France. It's like soup à la onion.
Oh.
Yeah, soup à la onion.
Okay.
Or something along those lines. I can't speak French, but and I don't have a French accent, but I do have a southern one. Hey y'all. But yeah, and I teach this, and it's so much fun when you start planning these parties. And we do design our dining rooms differently every menu that we do, which is a ton of fun, and the students get a lot of hands-on learning experience in it. And that's one of the parts that I really, really love about being at a higher learning education center, where we just like really can immerse ourselves with a really amazing budget, and people show up and eat it, because it is a class that we do this in. So, yeah, I mean, I think this French party would be fun. You got any ideas for games other than the mini Tour de France, which I was like, that would be so much fun.
Well, I was going to suggest charades,
yes.
But you already stole that from me. I think it'd be a really good opportunity to have just a kind of your bar style trivia.
Yeah.
So, find that it's something in which folks can easily participate, and we could be playing the trivia style game while we are consuming the amuse-bouches.
Yes.
And
yes.
So there'd be a good pairing there. Because then not only is the party entertaining, not only does it fill your tummy, but it could also fill your brain. So it's a good opportunity to have fun with the educational component. And there may be a lot of French or French adjacent history that people know. They just don't realize they know it until you get to the trivia portion. And so I think having some type of trivia would be a lot of fun with this. And then when we're all sitting around in the parlor with our snifters.
Parlor. We got parlors.
With our cognac.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good time for some type of sing-along, even if it's like Frère Jacques, which everybody knows. Again, we're doing everything else very cliche. Yeah. Why not do that?
We should,
and you could do rounds of Frère Jacques, and the more people enjoy their cognac, my guess is the more entertaining the rounds of Frère Jacques is going to be.
Yeah, the night gets a lot more fun as the cognac is being enjoyed and champagne is flowing. Having a champagne tower would be fun, too. Why not?
Oh, you started at the top, and then it creates the little fountain as it goes down.
I've never seen one successfully work. And I've seen people try to do them, and I've never seen one actually successfully work.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that we can't try, Like,
ice sculptures. We did not talk about that. When I think of a French party, I think of having ice sculptures. Is that something that is French, or is that just ice sculptures are just kind of globally popular?
I mean, now they're just globally popular, but they were first done in France.
They were first done?
For sure. Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, the French parties, especially before the French Revolution, were very elaborate. I mean, everyone had a private chef. Everybody in royalty had a private chef. That's why the French got to set the standard for cooking, because it's like, all these chefs now have nowhere to work, so they all went out and started cooking for the public and made it more open to what was formed during the Revolution, which was the middle class, and they could start eating, So whether you're making beef bourguignon, cracking creme brulee, or just practicing your oh la la in the mirror, remember, French parties aren't just about being perfect. Sometimes they can be cliché, and I think they're about laughter, friends, and way too much butter. Until next time, I'm Chef Chris, and this has been Doing Dinner on WKGC 90.7. Bonjour and bon appétit.